Ladies and gentlemen, this is really big, huge news. If you check out my last segment, I am, I believe, one of the first people, if not the only person on YouTube to pick this up. And if you listen to it's minute 15 into the interview with President Trump and Sean Hannity, and you will hear the audio. He states categorically that he has given the declassified, completely unredacted, entire version of all different types of documents to William Barr, stating he has all he needs, everything he needs, and the authority to give to John Durham and to congressmen and congresswomen on the GOP side, technically anyone in Congress. But this is profound news. Why? Because John Durham is engaged in a criminal probe. He is investigating whether Comey, Strzok, McCabe, Clapper, others utilized the United States government to defraud the American people. It doesn't matter if the DNC is allegedly hacked from now until eternity by every country on the planet. That is not national security, and it never was. It was never national security. This has nothing to do with protecting American lives or the country. When they say, Putin interfered in our democracy, a lot more possibly could have taken place with cash flowing into the Clinton Foundation amid Russian uranium deal, which is the verbatim New York Times article. Ross Story wrote one of two absurd hit pieces on me, and the last one was, he's always talking about Clinton. No, I read the New York Times headline. That is a 2015 article that states cash flowed to the Clinton Foundation amid Russian uranium deal, over $2 million from Uranium One executives, and a whole bunch of money prior to that. And you have William D. Campbell, who's an FBI informant, saying, the Russians were bragging about their influence over the Clinton Foundation and President Obama's administration. But of course, we can't go there because media has called that blasphemy. Well, there's no reason to be suspicious, says the media, beholden to the Democratic Party. Of course, there's a reason to be. Just flip the script if the tables were turned. Of course, they would never allow this to take place. Trump purchasing a Steele dossier on Clinton that says the Golden Muumuu enjoys bodily fluids raining down upon her. Enjoy the visual on this Friday. But you're going to hear, and like when you hear President Trump, you have to absorb this information within the context of Mueller's testimony, which was an unmitigated catastrophe, a public relations disaster of epic proportions. It was the PR equivalent of the Titanic, the Hindenburg, Clinton's 2016 campaign, and by the way, she's running again. All of this was for Clinton 2020. She will be the Democratic nominee in 2020. But you have to take this into context. The context was the atrocious, horrendous Mueller testimony, where, they're like, have you heard of the Steele dossier? Steele? John Dillinger? Where is he? No, nobody stole anything. Have you heard of the Steele dossier? I was born in the Bronze Age. I have no clue what you're talking about. Have you heard of the Steele dossier? The Steele? I never stole anything in my life. That's not why you're here. Have you heard of Fusion GPS? Bingo! What? Fusion GPS. I have one in my Buick. It's a wonderful, an annoying harlot keeps telling me where to go. I can't keep her quiet. It's not a GPS, Fusion GPS, the same company that Clinton outsourced with her law firm, with money funneled through her law firm. Glenn Simpson. Have you heard of any of these people? And he couldn't say anything. You know, he couldn't grasp why he was investigating Trump. And he didn't understand the origins of his own investigation. So it's kind of absurd. Like, the Democrats are like, oh my God, Mueller. Then they're like, oh my God, he is a military man, a veteran. And God bless him for that. You know who's also a veteran? General Michael Flynn, of numerous conflicts. He's a veteran, General Michael Flynn. And guess what the United States government has done to him? Because of people like Mueller. Actually, because of Mueller. Well, no, because of McCabe, sorry. Suddenly, see, they're so duplicitous. When it was Clinton's email probe, they're like, oh, well, the intelligence community doesn't know how to classify things. It's just a security review, and it's a matter. That's called obstruction in this day and age. Trump thinking of something that possibly could have happened but didn't happen, but he was thinking of it. His response to things was obstruction. But Clinton calling it a matter, a security review, actually wiping clean hardware, servers, and giving it to the U.S. government, oh, that's fine. That's fine. But listen to this. This is really, really, really interesting.
And you made a decision to hand it over to the Attorney General and let him decide, and I'm curious as to why.
Well, we have a very respected gentleman, a very high-quality person named William Barr, and I can tell you he's working so hard. And rather than just doing a total release, I gave him a total release. In other words, he's got everything. Anything he needs, he's got. He's the Attorney General of the United States. He's got a lot of very good people under him that I guess are involved, and I gave them a total release. So all of it's been released, and he has all of it. I've also given him authorization to release it to whoever he wants, whether it's his people or, frankly, perhaps people like Devin Nunes, who is a star.
So he has all of it. He has the FISA documents, all of it. FISA application, the FISA warrants, all the documentation that shows that McCabe signed off and others signed off on documents that were basically doctored. None of it was verified. It was a dossier purchased by Clinton. Then they say, well, you know, it was Joseph Mifsud, it was Alexander Downer who started it. That's even worse. And they don't seem to realize that nobody believes Brennan, Strzok, McCabe, Clapper, Comey, nobody believes them. And so CNN has a hilarious, segment out of the president. Can you believe what the president said about Mueller's investigation? That it was bordering on treasonous? Yeah. You cannot even inquire as to why money flowed into the Clinton Foundation from Uranium One, and then President Obama miraculously did not veto the sale of 20% of U.S. uranium capacity. Hello? Where Putin can now sell that precious and very dangerous resource to anyone on the planet. And Facebook ads are supposed to be the big problem. And they're in our election system, the Russians. It's like, look, the NSA, Admiral Michael Rogers stated not one vote was changed or altered in terms of any voting system within swing states. So the Russians had zero input in the election loss of Clinton. And when people say Bernie Sanders could have won and he was cheated, the response was, well, she got more votes. Yeah, but you had media. You had media deliberately not giving Bernie Sanders airtime. And, this is 2016. They've forgotten about it. Even Bernie Sanders has done his best to erase that moment from history. The only reason I will never erase it and always remember it is not because Bernie is this heroic figure. He, for a moment in time, and maybe he's done some very noble things early on in his political career, but I mean, he engaged in the most cowardly act possible, basically spreading propaganda from Comey and Brennan and Clapper and Strzok and McCabe, stating that the Russians informed the country through hacking the DNC that he was cheated. They've cloaked, they've circumvented responsibility for their criminal acts by saying that another country informed Americans of their criminal acts. So therefore, it's a big problem. But if David Fahrenthold of the Washington Post suddenly finds an Access Hollywood tape where Trump says he likes to grab things, oh my God, thank goodness for the media, democracy dies in darkness. Democracy dies in darkness. What? Why am I here? I mean, it was just horrendous. It was sad. If it would have been really sad were it not for the fact that Mueller was presiding over the indictments of people who should never have been indicted. George Papadopoulos was completely framed and set up, and he did nothing wrong. He literally went to jail because he couldn't remember an email to Joseph Mifsud. That's the alleged lie. And why is it a crime to lie to FBI agents? I mean, the discussion should be at least recorded. You have to rely on the FBI agents' 302s that you never get to see. So the FBI agent can be like, "Oh, you lied. How are you doing today? Good. No, you're doing really bad. You're lying. Sorry. Go to jail." How do you know? Michael Flynn never lied. He knew he was being taped. And Comey and McCabe both initially said he didn't lie. And the agents who Strzok included, Peter Strzok, who said we will stop Trump, stated initially he didn't lie. Then they said he did lie. And so it's like, what? Are you kidding me? And then you have Mueller, who is completely has no clue. He didn't even read. Look, the guy didn't read the report. What page? Oh, looks like hieroglyphics. We were taught that in school. He never read the report, and definitely didn't write the report. You can pretty much come to that conclusion. He did not write the report. Okay? Give me a stone tablet and some, guts from the latest catch, and I'll go ahead and make a fresco and give you exactly what took place with Trump. No, he did not write any of the report. He had no input in the report, almost certainly. He probably didn't read it. And it was either Andrew Weissman or other people on there who were rabid anti-Trump. But they're inept at being corrupt. They're failures at criminality. And they hide behind, what you're talking about is law enforcement. You're talking about government officials who are hiding behind the prestige of the United States government to engage in criminal acts. That's why I write about in U.S. Code 371. In the Federalist article that I wrote, it's in the description of every segment I do. But John Durham has all of this information. You just heard President Trump, and you can hear, let's hear him again.
Well, we have a very respected gentleman, a very high-quality person named William Barr, and I can tell you he's working so hard. And rather than just doing a total release I gave him a total release. In other words, he's got everything. Anything he needs, he's got. He's the Attorney General.
He's got everything, anything he needs, he's got.
The United States. He's got a lot of very good people under him that I guess are involved, and I gave them a total release. So all of it's been released, and he has all of it. I've also given him authorization to release it to whoever he wants,
So he has authorization to release all the documents, including FISA documents, to whomever he wants. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's pretty much, I mean, if you're Comey and Clapper and Brennan, mainly if you're Strzok, mainly if you're McCabe, Andrew McCabe, I think, is going to be the first person indicted in all of this. He's under criminal investigation now. His attorneys say, well, if it wasn't for Trump, he wouldn't be, No, he lied 3 times under oath. Are you kidding me? And this was Michael Horowitz during Jeff Sessions, okay? He didn't want to do anything to make the government look bad. Because Sessions appointed a special counsel with Rod Rosenstein. He recused himself. The IG report was lackluster, aside from Andrew McCabe being indicted because he lied 3 times under oath. Because his wife took hundreds of thousands of dollars from Terry McAuliffe, who is almost as sleazy as Comey. And Comey is almost as despicable as the Golden Muumuu. So, I mean, you look at all these people, like all these wonderful, great, fantastic people that Democrats give airtime to, and, Comey is such a great person. Comey is only there, and he plays both sides. He's hilarious. He even wanted to throw McCabe under the bus. Oh yeah, I'll testify against McCabe. What a good guy. He's like, yeah, he was my deputy attorney general for a bunch of years. I'll testify against him, no problem. But John Durham has this, and John Durham can then ask questions of people around. So almost certainly he's asking questions of people who worked for McCabe, questions of people who worked for Comey, questions of people who worked for Clapper and Brennan. And this is an investigation that's easy. It's a slam dunk. It's not difficult. This is not, rocket science. It's pretty easy. We know what took place. We know Trump was set up. He was framed. It's obvious. I mean, we're going to look back at this and every single aspect of this. From Clinton purchasing the Steele dossier, to CrowdStrike being outsourced by Democrats, to Alexander Downer being linked to the Clintons. I mean, all of this, even the absurd notion that Russia hacked the DNC because they were so afraid of Clinton. So what they did was they found criminality that the Democrats were engaged in and then told the country. And then they purchased Facebook ads that nobody ever cited as a problem for Democrats prior to November 8th, 2016. But then suddenly it became a huge issue. I mean, these people they are so delusional, but they love being in their own fantasy world. Because Twitter, what happens in Twitter, and you see this, you see journalists, and I had run-ins with a whole bunch, and I remember before the election, I had run-ins with journalists, and they would be like, hey, Jay Goodman, you're the guy, the crazy Bernie guy. I was like, no, Clinton's going to lose. Yeah, really? Okay, weirdo. Then she lost. then she lost, and it was like, oh, Russia. It's like, no, in 2015, in The Hill, The Huffington Post, and Salon, I told you she would lose. And now I'm telling you she's running again. It's 19 minutes in. It's a guilty pleasure. I'm going to tell you, okay, look. Why do you think the Mueller probe took place, and then Comey and McCabe started a probe before the Mueller probe? There was an ODNI and DHS report saying that Russia hacked the DNC to inform the country that Bernie Sanders was cheated to hurt Clinton. Why do you think this is all happening? This is all happening for the exhumed body we affectionately call Botox Biden? No. The walking cadaver? No. You think it's because Willie Brown just took time out of his day to write a San Francisco Chronicle op-ed, completely dismissing any chance that the California senator could win, or Elizabeth Warren, or anyone else could win? Why do you think this is all happening? She doesn't have to be on the debates with mi nombre es Beto. She doesn't have to be. She already says she'll have enough time to debate when it's Trump and Clinton. I mean, my God, it'll be the most watched. It'll be amazing. And the Democrats are just, look, they have nobody, and it's a money-making racket for them. So $1.2 billion, and they're all networking schemes. You think that these Hollywood celebrities who have $100,000 a plate dinners at their house for Clinton, it's a networking scheme. You have the most famous, or at least the wealthiest people in Hollywood showing up. So they talk about movies, and they pitch scripts, and they pitch, they try to find acting roles. It's an investment for them. You think they care about sitting next to Clinton to eat, cold salmon and whatever, Chardonnay, whatever. That's what the Clinton Foundation is, an entire networking scam. That's why I had a run-in with one guy, and I talked about Haiti, the $10 billion they raised from Haiti. And I said they stole that money, essentially. He's like, they didn't have knapsacks. They didn't steal anything. Okay, well, they raised $10 billion. And guess who gave them the money? All the people they had known from the Clinton Foundation, and new people who wanted to help the people of Haiti after a tragedy. So you get all the decision makers and all the people who have access to corporate funds, donations, private individuals, nonprofits also who have, and guess what? The Clinton Foundation and the Clintons have access, and they have a Rolodex. The Rolodex grows bigger, and so they know who has access to the money, because they're not Trump, who has buildings everywhere and hotels and the Apprentice and golf courses. He doesn't need to sell himself. The Clintons do. They're political versions of a word I'm not going to say. They have nothing to offer. They have no insight into the stock market. So investment banks are not speaking to them for their investment knowledge. They barely know anything about politics. Well, Bill does. The Golden Moo practically nothing. Hasn't had a foreign policy achievement in her life. Everything has been a catastrophe. Even Colin Powell said everything she touches turns, horrible. It's true. Every vote she's made in terms of a foreign policy, including her pushing Libya, because she was apparently the deciding factor, because Obama and Biden apparently didn't want to destroy Libya, and she was like, let's do it. Everything she's touched has been horrendous. Never worked out. So, and you can add Mueller to the list of people who've had their reputations tarnished and in tatters now because of Clinton. Peter Strzok, did we know who Peter Strzok was? Did we know he was stooping Lisa Page? No, we didn't know. We didn't know who. Strzok? Who is he? Oh yeah, the guy who hated Trump with a passion. Yeah, he kicked him off. I kicked him to the curb. I said, don't come back, Jack. Yeah. Do you think he was biased against Trump? Oh, why do you think I kicked him out, Sonny? Oh, because Peter Strzok said he wasn't biased. That's funny that you would say that. This is like not, if you were in your 30s or late 20s, like you really think that Comey is a great guy. Oh my God, what a great person he is. Now Clapper and Brennan, oh my God, these eggheads are so smart. They're keeping us safe from Facebook ads, And you'll say things like the age of Trump. how did we get Trump? I mean, who's responsible for Trump? They say, who's responsible for record low unemployment? 50-year low in unemployment. 500,000 new manufacturing jobs. Wages finally going up. Oh, who's responsible for 1,300,000 more job openings than workers to fill them? Oh my God. Lord, save us from this madness. This is the Democrats. They're completely, first, who's do you think he is first president to step foot in North Korea? Photo op. And then, with Obama, it literally destroyed a country with a failed NATO intervention. And then the propaganda is Putin wanted Trump to ruin alliances. What? You mean having countries pay a little bit more for NATO means ruining alliances? And what kind of buffoon? Then you get, what's his name from MSNBC, Joe Scarborough's like, after this, Mueller, after the way they were treating Mueller, I'm sorry I was ever a Republican. Believe me, Republicans are also sorry you were ever a Republican. I'm not a Republican, but people like Jim Jordan and Matt Gaetz, they were also very sorry you were ever a Republican. And these self-righteous people. And people like Joe Scarborough, like the McCain Republicans, they really think that Democrats, have a soft spot for them. And I've seen this nauseating, nonsense. We're different, and you're a Republican, I'm a Democrat, but at least you're a sensible Republican. Do you know how they were treating McCain? They were vile toward the Democrats in 2008, and all the little blogs and pundits that made their name in 2008 were not just rude. They had such contempt, and they engaged in the most underhanded accusations of McCain, and talking about his record in the most disrespectful manner in Vietnam. And these are the Democrats and the Obama and Clinton loyalists. They were far worse to McCain than Trump was, or at least as bad. Some of them were far worse. And it's just this hilarious, they've rewritten history because McCain had something to do with the Steele dossier. And he was a never-Trumper. There's never going to be another president that'll just go back to... The next president has to be a somewhat of a populist type figure. Say either on the left or the right. Either conservative or Democrat, or Republican or Democrat. But it has to... He or she has to be somebody who speaks to people. Clinton's going to run again, and they're gonna try to remake Clinton as look, she's on Jimmy Kimmel more, and she probably should go to Howard Stern. I mean, that would be surreal. But I mean, if she did that, if she went on Howard Stern and she was on late night every week, and she was on I don't know, she just was more of a. She'd get more people to vote for her. Clinton is not only running again, she's going to be the 2020 nominee. It's going to be a repeat. And if you say, oh, there's not going to be a repeat, then who do they have? I'm waiting. They have nobody. And they have nobody to raise enough money to even get close to Trump. Because Trump's getting $1 billion. $1 billion with a B. He won with $600 million. This is what they don't like. And she, look, they always say she got 65 million people. So. Or well over 63 million. So. Anyway, give me your thoughts below. My Patreon is below in the pinned comment. Check out my last segment prior to this. But John Durham has everything he needs. Because he's going to ask questions of people who worked with all the people he's investigating. Then he'll eventually ask questions of the people he's investigating. He'll use the documents and the answers from the people who worked with those he's investigating. Strzok, McKay, Clapper, Brennan, all of them. And see who's telling the truth. And you'll see perjury traps, and you'll see all of these things that a crime was committed, and it wasn't the DNC hack. It was the United States government who placed so much placed so much emphasis on trying to oust somebody who actually won an election. They are the biggest cheaters. They have engaged in the most collusion. And not only that, in terms of national security, you think Putin is scared of Democrats? Are you kidding me? He's not scared of Democrats or Republicans. Under Bush, there was, Georgia. And then under Obama, there's Ukraine. The United States did nothing, absolutely positively nothing to dissuade Putin. Just like Putin wouldn't do anything if we had an issue with Canada or Mexico. But this nonsense that, like, oh yeah, the Democrats are the real cold warriors. Oh, give me a break. Give me a break. And then you have the people, Trump's such a tyrant. No, 3,100 inmates were let out. There's a First Step Act. There's a record low black and Latino unemployment. Oh, it started under Obama. No, it didn't. Well, yeah, technically it did, but you know what? It also reached record highs under President Obama. And that's not a rebuttal. I don't get it. People don't understand. That is not a logical rebuttal. If indeed he's a racist, then therefore one would think that he would do things to actively hurt minorities. He does the opposite. People are making more money of all backgrounds under Trump. There's record low unemployment for all the communities that it's said that he dislikes. How does that work? And there's the First Step Act. You can compare Clinton with the 94 crime bill to Trump and criminal justice reform. And there are now economic opportunity zones in economically depressed communities because of Trump. I mean, there's a whole lot of things. I mean, Democrats have to bring up the issue of race in Russia, the two R's. And if they don't, they cease to exist. If they don't consistently get 92% or 90% of the African American vote, if they get like 80%, they're done as a political party. Meanwhile, every other ethnicity is voting Republican or just not independent or just, not buying the Democratic Party line. Jewish voters, I can tell you, are not, less Jewish voters are going to vote Democrat, especially because of all the anti-Semitic statements. Latinos, 30% voted for Trump, and there's record low Latino unemployment, and that's holding steady. So you'll have more than 30% of Latinos voted for Trump. Asian Americans, 30%, I think around close to 25 or 30% voted for Trump. And this whole nonsense like, oh, well, he's such an ogre, he's such a bad person. Nobody cares anymore. And nobody even really watches CNN. Home and Garden, the Home Cooking Network channel has a greater audience. Give me your thoughts below. Share my Jerusalem Post op-ed below. Share my Federalist article below. I'm going to come out with a new website that it'll be, if you know anyone who has Trump derangement syndrome, you'll defeat them in a debate. I'll help you do that. It'll be subscription based, but like every major topic I'll help you with. You'll be your own personal think tank to win any argument on a major topic regarding Trump. And that'll come out shortly. Give me your thoughts below. That's actually HA2A is going to transition to that website. So it's now, and then I'll still upload firearms segments here and there, but right now it's a firearms channel. It's well over 5,000 subs. Let's get it to 10,000. That'd be amazing. But that is going to be basically an extension of my new website, that channel. Give me your thoughts below. Thank you so very, very much.